Well, hey, kids, happy Monday. Thanks for dropping in for the bonus hour of Happy Hour. If you're joining us on the radio at 105.1 FM, 1080 AM, online, however you got to us, we appreciate you listening. If you're watching on YouTube, what is happening? Got another month of these. Bonus hours roll all the way through July, August 1st. Duck Insider will be back. So if you've been on vacation, you got back. Where's my Duck Insider? They're on summer vacation, man. You're not going to get it. You get me and Casey for bonus hours. Short week this week, though. I believe the great Joe Fisher will be here on Wednesday. I'm not sure what the plan is for Thursday, but I will be in Alaska. So we are doing 2 shows today and tomorrow, and then I'll be back on the 6th. And I think most of July I will be here. It might be another couple days. We'll see. But I think as of right now, it's 2 days this week. Maybe next Friday I'll be out. The following Friday. This Friday's the celebration of the 250th anniversary of this country. Man, come on. Got a lot going on. What are you doing to celebrate the 4th, Casey? Have I asked you that?
I'm going down visiting some buddies of mine.
Yeah?
Got a buddy who's got a river house down in Maupin, Oregon.
Oh,
so just going to go down there and enjoy the sun, drink a little bit too much, and be safe.
A river house. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that sounds
nice.
That sounds fantastic. Is this a group that you get together with often, or?
Yeah, this is all my buddies from pretty much childhood.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I am looking forward to this week. You had a couple homework assignments. You've been working heavy on your list of the top 100 NFL players. So the NFL is slow releasing these out. And you're working on it. How far along are you on your list of top 100 players?
I've got 90 through 79 done.
Oh, you got a lot of work to do.
But they only released 90 through 81 today, so we can check in.
No, we got plenty of time. We can pop in on it a little bit today and see where we're at. I'm interested of your process, though.
So my process was map out by position groups.
Okay.
So quarterbacks, running backs, tight ends, receivers, O-line.
So you already have that. Now you're just putting them in order.
Now I'm kind of stacking them up against each other, seeing who outweighs what. Because the biggest thing is, what's the difference between 90 and 88? Practically nothing. It's just where I'm slotting them.
Sure. So you're trying to match this whole thing. The way that your brain works is fascinating to me. This is, for anybody that's just joining the program that hasn't spent enough time with Casey, this is somebody that started doing mock drafts as a teenager for fun. That seems, to me, is absolutely crazy. But you're sitting there, you're trying to get this thing perfect. So do you already know who your number 1 player is?
Matthew Stafford. Again, the guy who's going to be the MVP, the guy who has the most value to his team. It's going to be Matthew Stafford.
But Matthew Stafford is going to be 37, 38 when the season starts?
I believe he'll be 39.
Okay, so 39-year-old Matthew Stafford, you think is the pound-for-pound best player in the NFL?
He'll be 38.
Okay, 38-year-old Matthew Stafford, best player. I mean, I know he's the MVP, and I know he's coming off of that. But again, this is voted on by players. It's interesting. Last year, Saquon Barkley. Year before that was Tyreek Hill. Seems like guys that are a little bit more centered in their prime, and it hasn't been quarterbacks the last couple of years. So you've got time if you want to change it. Right now, it is. Can I tell you who
my top 3 people would be if it's not Matt Stafford?
Yeah. I think you are allowed.
Myles Garrett and Christian McCaffrey.
Okay.
Because McCaffrey obviously breaking the all-purpose yards record.
Yeah, but again, not based on accomplishment. Just like the dude you don't want to line up against, Myles Garrett.
I feel like that kind of gets those 3 pretty to a point. And again, if you're a safety, who's the guy that you fear the most? Probably Matthew Stafford, a guy that the second you turn your hips a certain way, he makes you look foolish. Myles Garrett, again, he's going to beat you off the line 80% of the time on most snaps and every technique possible. Then Christian McCaffrey, again, who's probably the guy that people don't want to tackle out in open space or have to go out and chase him down. It's either him or Derrick Henry.
Well, you've got your system. You've got your system in place. We'll see how accurate you are. You have permission to change any of the numbers as we go, but we don't really have any rules set in place for this. So if you miss badly, do you recycle the guys back in? We'll figure it out. It's just not something that I have ever taken into account. There's so many variables in sport that I absolutely love. Right now, we are in the middle of all of the NBA rumors, and it's like this guy for that guy, whatever. I try not to get too caught up in that because you could spend an entire 3-hour show just going over what the potential scenarios could be and why. Beautiful thing about sports is by the end of it, we'll know the answers. Now, something as arbitrary as who the best players are in the NFL as voted on by, I'm going to use air quotes here, players, because let's be honest, somebody needs to send in that list. I'm guessing it's a PA or an intern for the organization going, all right, yeah, I tried to call this guy 3 times and I can't get a hold of him. Should I just put somebody down? Yeah, just put somebody down.
Well, if you heard the story, George Kittle filled out his forum with Christian McCaffrey standing over his shoulder, making sure that he's at the top of the list.
Again, how
all the biases are going to come out in this.
Sure. But if everybody fills this out, it's a little bit more arbitrary than, hey, let's go settle it on the field. That's my favorite part of it. Let's go settle it on the field, which always makes things fun. So the NBA free agency, a lot of rumors. Eventually, everybody's going to the dust will settle. We'll get into it. We'll make our predictions of which teams will actually be good in the NBA. Half of them won't. Half of them will. Then they're going to make a big shakeup at the trade deadline. So let's just wait and see. Let's just everybody calm down. This is me getting older. Yesterday, turned 45 years old. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. So I'm trying to take things as they come. I'm trying to just relax. Today, I don't know what we're going to talk about, but I've got Gary Hill Jr., radio voice of the Seattle Mariners, joining us at 2:30. We'll talk to him. It was, just an ugly weekend. The Mariners seem to keep setting you up as if things are going the right direction. They win the first game of, it feels like every series, then drop the next 2. It's just absolutely befuddling. They went 13 straight games, tied a franchise record. This is a 50 years of the Seattle Mariners baseball. They have been terrible for most of them. You tie any negative record that the Mariners have set, things are not going the way you expect them to go. 13 straight games, they did not score more than 3 runs. That is
tough
awful.
Offensive performances.
They finally put up 5 runs, and what do? They give
lose
up
by 6?
They give up. They lose by 1, but they give up 5 runs in the bottom of the 8th because they're going to go, well, we don't want to use our high leverage arms. We'd hate to actually win a game or a series. They're no longer in first place. So we'll have to talk to Gary Hill. He is there every day. He watches it a lot closer than I do. It's got to be tough for him. There's these elements of bad luck that are in there. There's elements of pitching just chaos. They have no idea what they're doing. They were going to do the piggyback. Then they decided, well, we can't do it with Logan Gilbert, even though we already agreed that we're going to rotate through. So now they're still stuck on this stupid 6 starter thing. There's a lot of questions to ask.
But there's got to be a little bit of hope still because, again, you're playing the worst baseball you've seen this team play in the last, I'd say, 3 to 4 years.
Probably.
And you're half a game out of first place.
Well, there's always hope, but at some point, you need to start manufacturing wins. You need to figure out a way to win baseball games. Feels like what they're doing is figuring out how to lose baseball games. So it's not good.
Well, sometimes you got to figure out how to lose them to figure out how to win them.
I don't think that's necessarily true. I think the opposite is true. I think you need to scrap together a couple 1-run. You have a 5-run lead or 4-run lead. Just maybe put in somebody that you trust. So we'd hate to waste our high leverage arms. Kind of need all the wins that you can get. So we've got that today. We've got Lee Syatt is a comedian. Will be at Helium this weekend. He's going to join us early on this week. So we're actually in the next segment. We'll have him. We'll give him a call and jump on with him. He started as a podcast producer and then has moved his way into stand-up. He'll be at Helium. Very funny guy. So we're going to do that. Tomorrow we're going to have somebody from the new Portland softball team and our friend Jen Ellis, who works with us here at Odyssey, but is also the new PA announcer for the softball team. So it'll be a fun week. It's going to be short. It'll be quick. Then I'll go and catch a bunch of salmon, and then I can enlighten everybody with the tales from the wild north of Alaska next week when we get back. That sound like a way to celebrate the holiday?
You going to bring me back something?
Yeah, I'll bring you. What do you want? A fillet of salmon, or do I need to rip off a bear's paw for you?
I'll take a fillet.
Okay, yeah.
So that way you can actually prove that you at least caught one out there.
Well, there'll be photos taken, and they've already put the limit up to 6 per day.
I don't know. AI is crazy these days.
It's crazy. No faith in me to go up there and actually conquer the Wild North. This is, I think, our 5th year that we've done it. If I went the first year, I was 40, so 6th year that we'll be doing this trip. So hopefully we can figure out how to catch some salmon. We'll get all that figured out. But with that, we are going to bring on Lee. We'll give him a call. So we'll take a quick break. You're listening to a bonus hour of Happy Hour on 105.1 The Fan.
The Fan.
Welcome into bonus hour of Happy Hour. We are going to be joined by Lee Syatt. He is the co-host of Joey Diaz's podcast, The Church of What Is Happening Now. He's going to be at Helium this weekend, July 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Lee, I have no idea why our producer Casey decided to use Cher as your bump music, but welcome to Happy Hour. Glad to be talking to you.
I'm happy to be here. Listen, I don't know either, but I love Cher. I was dancing when I was on. I believe in love after love, too. Happy birthday, Luke. It's good to be here.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Have you been to Portland before, or is this your first trip out to the Rose City?
First time. I couldn't be more excited.
Oh, excellent. Well, let's talk a little bit about your background. You started as a podcast producer, became one of the fan favorites, moved your way into the co-host role. Do I have that correct on the Joey Diaz's podcast? Is that how it happened?
Pretty close. I actually started. I went to college for post-production. I moved to Los Angeles, and I found out that working in reality TV is not that fun. So I started out with Joey. We would start with a couple of CDs, and I didn't want to be on the podcast at all. And Joey forced me, and 15 years later, and a lot of edibles, I've been the co-host for a long time, and it just sort of happened. It's I wish I could tell you how it happened.
Well, the edibles may make the memory a little bit different, but what you recall of that story, how did that become one of your go-to character traits?
The edibles?
Yeah.
By force. If you know anything about Joey Diaz, he says he likes to dose people. So when I moved to California, it was medical marijuana, and we used to have to go and give a fake doctor and a strip mall $20, and then we'd get to go into these dispensaries, which I've heard great things about the dispensaries in Portland. And that was pretty much the podcast for about 15 years. My mom is very proud of me. I used to get really, really high on the internet for a long time.
That is, it's quite the story. And then you decided you would do stand-up. So you started in reality television, but behind the scenes, wanted to be behind the scenes on this podcast. So then your life changes so much that you decide you want to go up and torture yourself by standing in front of people and trying to make them laugh. I have that correct?
I clearly don't make very good decisions, but that is very correct. I've always been a fan of stand-up, but I just never thought that was where I was going to go. And then actually, we had Andrew Dice Clay on the podcast a couple of times, and he was the first one to actually encourage me to do stand-up. I actually asked Joey the first time. I was like, hey, do you think I should try this? And he told me I shouldn't. So thank God I didn't listen to him, and I listened to Dice Clay. And you know what? It's the most fun I've ever had. It's I'm very thankful to be doing what I'm doing, and I can't wait to be at Helium this weekend.
Well, fantastic. There's going to be 5 shows at Helium. This is Lee Syatt. He's going to be here. 8 o'clock show on Thursday night, 7:30 and 9:45 on Friday, 4 and 6:30 on Saturday. Go to heliumcomedy.com if you want to check it out. So going from podcast to stand-up, you already have an audience that knows who you are. How long did it take you to feel comfortable on stage with the cadence of it, because it is very different than the long form that is podcasting?
It's different, but it's very, honestly, I just try to be myself. You know, I'm about 10 years into this, and if you talk to any comedian, you don't really start hitting your stride till 20 or 30 years. So to be honest with you, I'm feeling more and more comfortable every day, but I just try to be myself. You know, I don't know if I honestly have a face and a body for radio. I'm 5'3", 200 pounds, and bald. I'm not really confident in much in my life, but I honestly, I work very hard at this, and it's just something that I'm able to have more confidence on stage than I do in normal life.
You said you've been doing podcasting for 15 years, stand-up for 10. Stand-up has changed a lot in the last 10 years, partly because of podcasts, and podcasts certainly have changed a lot. What's been the craziest difference between when you started out in both fields and where it is now?
When I started out podcasting, I used to have to tell people that I worked on internet radio. It wasn't a thing. I mean, Kevin Smith, the great director, Adam Carolla, there were a couple of people doing it, but it was honestly very brand new. And now, if you don't do a podcast, you're crazy. Stars have podcasts now. So I think that's the biggest difference with podcasting. And then with stand-up, I think the biggest difference that I've seen, because I've been a fan for my whole life, you know, it was a lot of the Jerry Seinfelds and all those people who did like more written jokes. And I think what has happened with podcasting is the listeners know us. It's the same, your listeners know you. Yeah. So it's given the comics a lot of opportunity to tell stories and just be a little bit more organic on stage.
Lee Syatt going to be at Helium this weekend. You are a New Yorker, born and raised. Do I have that right?
No, I'm actually from, I apologize in advance, even though you guys beat us in the Super Bowl. I'm actually from Massachusetts. I've lived in New York for a couple of years, but no, Massachusetts, born and raised, and now in New York. Okay,
so the Knicks parade, were you there for that? Did you get caught up in the hype, or are you a Celtics fan and can never root for the orange and blue?
I didn't want to get beat up. I didn't go to the parade, But I'm a Celtics fan, but I ended up marrying a Knicks fan, and it was honestly, it was a lot of fun. I lived in L.A. for 10 years, and the sports fans down there kind of stink. And I have to be honest, the New York fans were great. To get pumped up for this call, I've been watching Rasheed Wallace highlights for the past 20 minutes.
As you should.
I wish he was there. Oh, I wish he was on the Knicks. He would have killed Wemby. I miss those days of basketball.
I don't know exactly why that needed to be played right then and there, but thank you, Casey. Yeah, the way that the Knicks attacked Wemby seemed to be the first team that wasn't really afraid to go at him. The Blazers tried it for a minute, but the physical nature of old school basketball is something that the Knicks kind of played with a little bit, and I really enjoyed that little run. I didn't think in my entire life I would ever be rooting for the Knicks against anybody, and I'm sure it was the same way for you.
No, as a Bostonian, to root for anyone in New York, I can't even talk to anyone in my family right now. But it was as long as it's not the Yankees, I'll let it slide. But no, it was great. It was a lot of fun. I mean, they went 13 or 14 in a row without losing, so
yep.
It was a lot of fun to watch.
Well, the Patriots' run to the Super Bowl was kind of surprising, but there's something that we keep coming back to on this show. We have dubbed it Filategate. What is your following of the Mike Vrabel, Diana Rossini saga that has happened all offseason? And I assume if you're a Patriots fan, you're with your coach, and he did nothing wrong and good for him. But Diana, oh, how dare her?
You know what? To be honest with you, this is not going to be popular. As long as we win, I don't care what anyone does. I'm not that mad at Diana either. Mike Vrabel is a very good-looking dude. I don't blame her at all. Honestly, it's not a great look. I'm sure they both regret it, but when the Patriots are, we went through a very tough, very long 4 years when we were just not very good. So to be back and doing well, Mike Vrabel could have my mom if he wants.
Well, we all feel very bad for that 4 years that the Patriots weren't winning Super Bowls. That must have been agony. Yeah, what was there? Just that fear of watching Tom Brady go and have success elsewhere must have crushed you when he only got you 6 trophies. It's heartbreaking. I'm sure.
It was the worst break. I was the most jealous ex-boyfriend in the world when he left for the Bucs. But to be honest, I get it. Everything, and I love Bill Belichick. He was a great coach. But everything that's come out since, when Brady left, I wanted him to be like Kobe. I wanted him to only be on the Patriots. And when he left, I was kind of hurt and upset. But now I get it. And Brady, to have 20 years of Tom Brady, we're about the luckiest fans in the world. So it's hard to complain. But we find a way.
Yeah, well, as you should. It changes the expectations. I'm pretty sure the Patriots still have a negative scoring differential from all the Super Bowls they played in because they were so bad in the first one, and they won, their first few by such narrow margins. They never really dominated in a Super Bowl. So, I guess, with losing last year, I'm sure that they're at a negative point differential. So it is one of those things where it kind of changes the expectation. I was a Seahawks fan my whole life. They were awful. Up until 2005, they finally make a Super Bowl. Now they've been one of the better teams for the last 2 decades. So it's funny how fandom definitely changes. But there was a time where New England was not just good at football. The Bruins were great, and the Red Sox, shrugged off their curse and doing all of that. Do you find yourself being a bigger sports fan when you're away from New England, living in L.A., now living in New York? Do you feel like you have to dig down and fight against people more often?
I don't fight against people, but to be honest, it's moving away, I really only follow the Patriots that much. The Red Sox are a disaster right now. It hurts my soul to watch the Red Sox. I do love the Celtics. I feel a lot of camaraderie with other New Englanders. Whenever I'm out in a different city and I see a hat, I love it. It does bring me a lot of hometown pride. But I don't know about you. We're around the same age. I'm 38. as we get older, it's tough to follow. Like, that's why I love football so much. There's 17 games.
Yep.
To follow a 162 game season with baseball, it's a full-time job.
Well, and then if you try to, follow the Seattle Mariners, then it's just disappointment after disappointment after disappointment. So I can understand the difference. But yeah, the NFL season is a made-for-TV, perfect entertainment product. If you like betting on sports, it's got that lovely little cycle where you can set in all your games for the week, and everything rotates around. They make it almost too easy to cheer on. And this year they're going to play. I think they play a game on every day of the week except for Tuesday. So even that they're trying to tweak and figure out how to make it work. What do you expect from the Patriots this year? Do you expect a hangover?
To be honest, I do. I mean, we did just grab that great wide receiver from Philly, who I'm blanking on his first
A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown. So to be honest, I'm a Jewish guy. I'm a pessimist at heart, but I'm hoping that between that great defensive guy, not Gonzalez. He's like a second or third year cornerback. Just fantastic.
I think you're thinking Christian Gonzalez. I think you're right.
Christian Gonzalez. All right. Yeah. Between him, Drake May. I mean, I have to be honest. I thought Mac Jones got a little bit of a bad rap. I know he was with San Francisco for a couple of years in your area, but to see Drake May, as pessimistic as I like to be, I have a little bit of hope. I don't know if we're going to go back to the Super Bowl, but I don't think we're going to be the Cam Newton years.
Yeah. Well, the Cam Newton years in New England, I don't think his arm worked anymore. So falling back,
his mouth worked.
That's right. Well, and his hats, his milliner worked, I think, plenty.
Yeah.
Well, let's do this for anybody that has not listened to your podcast and doesn't have any familiarity with kind of your style. Why don't you tell people what they can expect if they go and check out your stand-up this weekend at Helium?
What they can expect is a lot of fun. I'm not a political guy. I'm not smart enough to talk about that. I don't. A big thing right now with stand-up is crowd work and making fun of people. The only person getting made fun of at my shows is myself. I have a very self-deprecating style. I like to be very silly. I like to have a lot of fun. I'm a chubby guy with a good sense of humor. So if you come to my shows this weekend, it's going to be a great time. No one's going to get their feelings hurt, and we're going to get out and see the fireworks at 10 o'clock.
Well, perfect. I was watching some of your stand-up that's available online and loved the way that you delivered your material was very methodical. It was a great flow, and if somebody wants to just sit around, you're not trying to attack anybody. It is definitely kind of an easygoing. It looks like it'll be a really fun evening. I unfortunately will be in Alaska, so I won't have a chance to see any of it, but I wish you some great shows. And if you want to go and check it out, go to heliumcomedy.com. And Lee, what could they expect if they want to go and tune into that podcast?
If they want to tune into the podcast, just do me a favor. If you're at work, wear headphones. It's Joey Diaz and I, who's you might know him from The Longest Yard or on the Joe Rogan Experience a bunch. We just like to have fun and laugh and maybe take part in some medical marijuana. It's all around good times.
Lee Syatt at Helium this weekend. Hey, it was great to talk to you. I cannot wish you luck for the Patriots or the Celtics ever, but good luck. Good luck with the podcast and the stand-up. And next time you're in town, hopefully we can bump into each other.
That'd be great. Happy belated birthday and have fun in Alaska.
I appreciate it. Lee Syatt at Helium, heliumcomedy.com. You can go and get tickets. 5 shows this weekend starting Thursday, going through the 2 shows on Saturday. We've got Gary Hill Jr. going to be joining us later at 2:30, so we're going to shift things up. Casey, do you want to go to it next? Do all the worst things that I said? No.
We can save it for tomorrow. I'll have a bunch more for you tomorrow.
Well, the dumbest things I said will be pushed until tomorrow. So then we're calling an audible here. You ready to do the 100 best players in the NFL as voted on by their peers?
Let's do it.
We will do that next. You're listening to Happy Hour Bonus Hour on 105.1 The Fan. Here is a SportsCenter update.
First on The Fan, the Washington Mystics won a marathon matchup last night, defeating the Portland Fire. Well, that game went to a record-tying 4 overtimes. Carla Late hit a banked-in three-pointer with 0.4 seconds remaining in regulation to send the game to overtime. and she led Portland with 32 points. Well, we had 6 Fire players foul out of the game.
Yeah, you
in
did.
the quadruple
Let's go.
overtime thriller.
Did
you happen to catch any of the game?
I happened to catch the final score of the game. Did you see how many points the Mystics put up in the 4 overtimes?
No, I didn't.
They scored 124 points. That is the same amount of points that the Chicago Sky scored against your Fire in regulation on Friday. On Friday, the Fire gave up the highest shooting percentage another team has, the most assists anybody had. One gal for the Sky went 13 for 13, and the only reason the Sky didn't set a record for the most regulation points in WNBA history is they were kind enough to dribble it out during the weekend. So the wrong end of some historic figures, losing the quadruple overtime and getting absolutely boat raced on Friday.
They were also 4 points away from taking away the landmark of the most combined points in a game.
123, 124.
That would be 247 as that combined score. The most points scored in a regular season game was in 2010, 251 points scored.
So close.
That game only went to 2 overtimes.
Well, like I said, they gave up 124 in both games this weekend. 1 in regulation, 1 in 4 overtimes.
21 ties, 12 lead changes.
Woo! That's what you want, man. It's electric. You'd like to see the win, but you got your money's worth if you were in Washington to watch that game.
And for
anybody traveling with the team? Did you travel to see Fire games?
Oh, I wish. And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Casey Smith from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
The home of dirt and
Ladies and... Yeah, there you go. Breaking news. It's the longest breaking news I've ever heard. This is very big, ladies and gentlemen. I told you that I would not get into the rumors. Jaylen Brown coming to the Blazers. I don't know if he is. But from Shams Charania, the Memphis Grizzlies are trading two-time All-Star Ja Morant to the Portland Trail Blazers for Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray. That is what sources are telling ESPN. What? Ja Morant. Was this on anybody's radar? Were there any signs that this was the plan for your Blazers, Tom?
We knew Memphis was unhappy.
Well, we knew that.
Ja wanted out of Memphis.
We've known that for a year and a half.
I think this is a really good signing. I think this could work out very much in the Blazers' favor. We need creators. We need scorers. Again, the off-the-field stuff, well, we're not Memphis. Portland ain't Memphis.
Portland is definitely not Memphis, but Portland is also known for the Jail Blazers era. That is obviously not worrying the organization very much. Tom Dundon and Joe Cronin and going out and getting that. You have a two-time All-Star and somebody that at one point was thought to be a centerpiece that would be leading his team to a potential championship and whatever it was before all the off-the-court stuff started getting him suspended and getting him in trouble with the league and doing all of that. Then he becomes discontented with the situation that he has in Memphis. The team around him wasn't good enough. This is a pretty low price for the potential that Ja Morant has. If he can keep his head on the court and focus on what he wants to do, if he's matured and decided that basketball is the most important thing in his life, this is a steal.
Again, the conversation was, well, if you add a guy like Jaylen Brown, you're getting to pair him with Deni Avdija. You have two great downhill scorers. Well, the conversation was always, what was the price going to be for Jaylen Brown? You just got Ja Morant, a very strong downhill scorer, for a real good price.
Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray. Was Chris Murray at any point the future of this team?
Was Chris Murray at any point one of the pieces that we thought would be moved?
No, but I mean, I didn't think that he wouldn't be. He certainly wasn't somebody that was going to be protected. And Jeremy Grant, of course, his timeline isn't really the future. But how old is Ja Morant?
I want to say he's 24.
No, Ja Morant's got to be older than that. Let's look up Ja Morant. Because, again, not at all on our radar. So, I mean, still very, very young. So 26-year-old Ja Morant is coming to join a team where he fits in the timeline. You have to like the pieces that are here better than Memphis. Where did Memphis finish in the standings last year? They were outside of everything and just kind of a train wreck. So we knew that this might be something that was coming. But this is what happens when you sit and look at all of the different rumors that are going around. You've got LeBron and AD possibly going over to Golden State and Jaylen Brown in talks with the Blazers. Now, the other thing that's really crazy about this is Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray, you still have a lot of chips. If you want to go and make another move, if you want to go after Jaylen Brown, was Jeremy Grant the one piece that you had to have in a deal to go make a deal with Boston? Could you see multiple moves happening? I mean, this is big to begin with, but now you've got Ja Morant. Is he a guy that has enough respect from the rest of the league that somebody would want to go play with him? Or has he burned too many bridges where he just is a guy that Portland was willing to take a chance on?
And now your starting five is Damian Lillard, Ja Morant, Deni Avdija, whoever you want to throw at the four. Maybe it's two. Maybe you want to go big size.
It's Tumani and then Donovan Clingan.
I love that lineup. I love that lineup on paper.
I love the potential of it and the idea that you've done something exciting. This is regardless of what you think of Ja Morant and all of his off-the-court stuff. I understand if you're worried about that and you don't like that move.
But he's an excitable player.
From a pure basketball standpoint and an entertainment standpoint.
Butts in the seats, man. That dude gets butts in the seats.
Yeah. I mean, that's just happened, so obviously we're reacting to it in real time. This is wild. And what's his contract situation? Can we pull up and see what Ja Morant looks like from a standpoint of team control?
He was on he's in the fourth year of a 5-year
So this will
$200 million rookie extension.
Going
He's
into
getting
his
about
fourth year.
42 a year.
So he's
a little
going
over 42 a year.
Going into his fourth year, and then you have him under team control next year.
And he will be an unrestricted free agent in 2028.
This is, yeah. All right. That's a
really good deal to go after. I really like the hunger for going after that deal. Because, again, you have him until 2028.
Yeah.
And John Morant until 2028, I can figure stuff out until then if I need to. And I'm going to compete with good teams because I have Damian Lillard, John Morant, and Denny Avdija.
Well, and you wonder you still have Drew Holiday and Damian Lillard, and talk about guys with leadership skills.
I just love that you didn't have to give up a lot. We knew Jeremy Grant was probably going to be a piece that got moved this offseason.
John Morant
you gave up Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray. You didn't lose any of the draft capital that you got, and you got out a really good 20-point scorer a night.
22.4 for his career with 4.6 rebounds and 7.5 assists per game. Last year was, I believe, was a down year. Let's take a look. So 19 points per game. But yeah, I mean,
John Morant is everything that we were hoping Shaedon Sharpe could start to develop to become. Now both of them get to play together. And so you have a high flyer in John Morant in the front court, and then coming off the bench, you still have Shaedon Sharpe.
He was the 2019-2020 Rookie of the Year, most improved player in 21-22, two-time All-Star, and again, 22.4 points per game over 7 seasons. And he's only 26 years old. So he came into the league as a teenager and won Rookie of the Year, scoring 17.8 points per game. Off the court trouble, so it's a little bit of a risk. But you're bringing into a team that has veteran leadership in the backcourt. You're going to be paired with Damian Lillard. Who knows what happens with Drew Holiday and if there's any other moves to be made. But as far as a first move, does this count as a splash?
100%.
something that changes the way that you perceive this Portland Trailblazers team.
I have a new drop.
Oh, do you?
Yeah! Every time.
So you've got 3 All-Stars that will be starting in the front court for your team next year. Denny Avdija, you've got Damian Lillard, you've got John Morant. They're not all All-Stars last year, but guys that have been All-Stars in their career. That's a shakeup.
I like this move a lot.
Yeah?
I really do.
All right. 503-864-6326. You're getting our immediate reactions. This all just happened. I'd love to check in on the text line, see what you guys think. 503-864-6326. Ja Morant has been traded for Chris Murray and Jeremy Grant. The Blazers now have the little bit of trouble off court and a whole lot of production on the court in the trade from the Grizzlies. We will take a minute, collect our thoughts, and see what you guys think, and we will get that as we continue the bonus hour of Happy Hour on 105.1 and the Fan Sports Network. Well, over the weekend, Oregon Live reported that A-Crop might be closing sooner than expected. That may be changing soon. Ja Morant just traded to the Portland Trail Blazers. Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray out the door. You get the all-star guard. Somebody on the fan text line saying that, what are you going to do with 4 point guards? And then responding to themselves saying, actually, Ja more of a shooting guard. Rim shot. No? Anybody? I mean, the big question is you've just upgraded at least the potential, right? Chris Murray, Jeremy Grant. Jeremy Grant, you know what he is. He's 32-year-old, 33-year-old player that's not going to change his stripes. You kind of know what you have in Jeremy Grant. Chris Murray never really showed too many flashes of being anything extraordinary, maybe a good rotational player as a ceiling. Ja Morant's ceiling is very, very high. You've got Scoot Henderson, you've got Shaedon Sharpe, you've got Ja Morant. You could lose any one of those guys in another move and still have one of the most athletic young players at the position. So a lot of people on the fan text line suggesting that this is just move number one. You've upgraded your upside. So now go out there and go get Jaylen Brown. Who are you going to pair him with?
Again, all the draft capital that people are interested in because your draft capital is, again, pretty valuable. You still have the opportunity to make moves with that. That's what I love about this move is that you didn't give up any capital. You gave up Jeremy Grant, who you wanted to move.
Yep.
You gave up Chris Murray, who, again, is going to probably go out and have a good career because of it now because, again, when he was given a shot here, now a team wants him. Down the line, he's going to go out and, again, do good things.
Sure, yeah. I mean, Chris Murray, he's not Keegan Murray. I mean, again, his twin brother has been the better player since he came in. He came out a year later than Keegan and has been okay, but there's nothing...
Again, very serviceable, but again, you're able to fill that role that, again, Chris Murray was. You can do a lot more with a player that you can go get in free agency or make a move with, or even say move a guy that was potentially going to be in the starting lineup, move them into the backcourt or move them onto the bench, and now they get that opportunity to shine in the way that we saw Dylan Harper shine all season.
I mean, Chris Murray, let's see. Chris Murray, 3 years with Portland, has averaged 5 points a game. He's averaged 20 minutes. I mean, it's not, this is not a guy that I think you're worried about losing. Jeremy Grant, again, very good player, one of your rotational pieces. This is a let's go out and get all of that potential. That seems to be Joe Cronin's move, which is let's get guys with upside. That's the risk that he's been willing to take. And you'd much rather see that where it's a let's fail by taking swings. This is a big swing with not a lot out the door. You didn't send hardly anything away to get a guy that has a ton of potential. Is it very funny? Yes, Portland is not Memphis. A lot more strip clubs. Thank you, text line. It's the Jail Blazers era feel to it where you have a guy that has been suspended by the team and by the league for flashing a gun on social media. I get that you want the risk. I know that nobody was marking this as the best move that they can make, but it feels very much like the price was agreed upon and the Blazers were like, well, we got to do that.
It's only a difference about $5 million. So between Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray, they would cost about $42 million a year. Or sorry, about $37 a year.
Well, yeah, you make the
you
money.
You just got Ja for $42.
And again, Ja Morant is 26 years old and has been in the league for 7 years, started as a teenager. I know that I get the optics of worrying about, what he might potentially do off the court. But again, he might not even stay here. This might be a turn and use Ja Morant as one of those pieces to go out and get something else.
And he's also going to be next to the guy who probably has, again, you look around the league, a real good head on his shoulders in Damian Lamar Lillard.
Yeah.
Like, again,
Dame, Drew Holiday.
Two dudes who can
sit
much teach you how to stay in the league for 10, 15 years. Because that's what they've done.
Well, and again.
And be potential Hall of Famers as well.
22 points a game over 7 seasons, where he has not been 100% focused on basketball. So you've seen production. You've seen 2 All-Star appearances. You've got a Rookie of the Year. You've got everything that you would want from an upside standpoint. And a guy that plays a fun, almost reckless style of basketball. And again, maybe even you talk about the off-the-court mentorship that you could get from 2 veterans that have been around. some of the on-the-court stuff, too. Pick your spots. You don't have to always be going full speed to go after it. I don't know, man. It makes it, to me, just the on-court product that much more entertaining. I mean, Ja Morant, when he came into this league, took everybody, can't be everybody, took most people by surprise by how unafraid he was, how willing he was to go and challenge everybody. Southern Missouri somewhere?
Murray State.
Murray State. Yeah. Are they black and yellow too? Yeah.
I believe they're
but
navy and yellow.
Either way. But yeah, Murray State. Well, I assume that might have had something to do with the way that he behaved off the court as well. Just possible. But on the court, dude is about as electric as they get. So the Blazers out making moves. There's been some re-signings today. I haven't seen anything else going on, so the Blazers are making the biggest splash of the day. I'd be hard-pressed to think that this is the last move that they're going to make during this cycle. So there's one. If Tom Dundon said he's willing to go out and take risks to do this, so you have him locked up for this year at about around $42 million and next year. So if it ends up being a mistake and it's not that guy, I'd rather have Ja Morant for the next 2 years than Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray.
Got him at 42 this year, 46 next year, and then 2028 he's an unrestricted free agent, meaning you can figure out what to do with that deal next.
Yeah. Well, but that's exactly right. If it's a good fit for him and it's a good fit for this team, then you have the opportunity to re-sign him before anybody else. You'll have all the, options to, extend him at the highest rate. But if it's a good fit for Ja Morant and it's a good fit for Portland, you've got 2 years of team control. So you've got that right out there. And if it's not, again, would you rather have Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray for the next 2 years and let them walk, because that's kind of where you're at. You still have all of the draft picks that you got from Milwaukee when you sent Damian Lillard there in the first place. You have all of your draft capital still available to you. And now looking at this roster, again, Scoot Henderson, Shaedon Sharpe, Ja Morant. If you're just looking at potential guys and somebody's willing to make a
lot
move,
of creators, now we're just hoping for them to make a move for possible size and maybe some more defense.
Well, that's exactly my thought. If you're looking at this roster and you want to trade in to get somebody that is potential, if any or all of those three guys are available, and you're a team that is going, all right, we're moving on from fill in the name here. Any of those sound interesting to you? Oh, how about we throw in Ja Morant in that deal? All right. Little something. So, your Portland Trailblazers, they're cheap. We know that. This new owner, just as bad as the last one, maybe even worse. They just went and made a move that's going to be unpopular with a lot of people. It's very easy to pick apart a move that puts us back towards the Jailblazer days. But it's something. Whatever you think of it, is on the court, off the court. This is a big move. This has just changed the dynamic of this team, for better or for worse. They are willing to make moves, and it feels like a very cheap price to get a two-time All-Star that would probably have more All-Stars under his belt if he could keep his head right. And you've got a couple veteran leaders that you would assume would help him figure out how to do that. Ja Morant, your newest Portland Trailblazer, Jeremy Grant, Chris Murray are the two pieces that you sent to Memphis in order to make that happen. We'll keep an eye on what else happens as we jump into the normal shenanigans of our happy hour. We do it next. It is 105.1 The Fan.
Ja!
Now's the perfect time.
from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, your Portland Fire made history last night as they competed in the longest game in WNBA history, as that game went to 4 overtimes. The only other 4 overtime game in WNBA history was back in 2001 when the Washington Mystics took down the Seattle Storm. 8 players played 45-plus minutes in last night's contest as the Fire ultimately fell to the Mystics at the buzzer, as the final score in that one was 124-123. Fire have a few days off, but are back in action for an Independence Day match this Saturday against the Seattle Storm. Some NBA news for you out of a federal indictment released on Monday, as former NBA players Malik Beasley, Ed Davis, and an NBA agent are among 6 defendants indicted on charges related to an alleged sports betting scheme. Davis and the co-defendants were arrested Monday, and Steve Haney, Beasley's attorney, said that they have coordinated a voluntary surrender for this week. Just some breaking news that went across the ticker, as Ja Morant is becoming a new member of the Blazers. The Memphis Grizzlies are trading 2-time NBA All-Star Ja Morant to the Portland Trail Blazers for Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray. And finally, over to the World Cup, as we have a round of 32 has just begun. Canada kicked off the knockout stage as they defeated South Africa 1-0 in the 92nd minute last night. Today we have 3 round of 32 matches for you today, as Brazil, they beat Japan earlier today 2-1. At 1:30, Germany and Paraguay have gone head-to-head, as that game is now in the 30th minute. And wrapping up our day of World Cup matches is the Netherlands, as they face off against Morocco at 6 p.m. And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Casey Smith from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
This is the
Happy Waffle Iron Day. Not Waffle Day, Waffle Iron Day, all you beautiful radio listeners. Thanks for dropping in our little happy hour. Hope you caught some of the bonus hour. We're doing those all the way up until August 1st when Duck Insider returns. If you're watching us on YouTube, here's a hand gesture just for you. You're welcome. If you're listening on the radio through 105.1 The Fan FM, 1080 AM, online at 1051thefan.com, Odyssey.com, the Odyssey app, or you ask your smart speaker, did we just get John Morant? Yeah, we did. Use the fan text line. It's 503-2-GO-FAN. That's 503-864-6326. Use it. Use the text or the chat to share your thoughts, ask questions, solicit advice, or answer me this, dear listeners. How do you feel about your Portland Trail Blazers? I mean, that's what we want to know. They just went out and traded Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray for Ja Morant. And you have, it's just been reported by Chris Haynes. Shams Charania was the one that released the news about the trade. Chris Haynes came out on Twitter shortly after and said that the plan for your Portland Trail Blazers is to have a starting backcourt of Damian Lillard, Ja Morant, with Denny Advia on the wing. I think we said that, Casey, as soon as you saw this. Ja Morant, obviously a starter. You're going to want to put Damian Lillard back out there. That first opportunity that you get. 2 rookies of the year in your backcourt, and Denny Advia, first-time All-Star last year. You didn't really improve your three-point shooting with this move, but you improved just about everything else. Ja Morant, 22 points per game, 7.4 assists. That's better than Chris Murray and Jeremy Grant combined. So you've made things more exciting at the bare minimum. I understand all the off-the-court concerns, but again, moving a guy like Ja into a position where you're going to be around NBA veterans that have a leadership presence you would think would be able to grab the ear and the attention of Ja Morant, or we're back in the Jailblazer days. It's one of those two things. It could be something where this is one move among many, and now you can go out and you've made your young, talented guys with upside that haven't really proven to be everyday players, and Shaedon Sharpe and Scoot Henderson. Maybe you're way more comfortable making those trade pieces because you don't need them to stick around if you've got Ja. So put those guys in a package to go out and try to get somebody else. You've got plenty of draft capital that you can use moving forward because you've got all the picks that you got from Milwaukee plus your own. Feels like a step in the right direction. You've done something big. How will it work out? I have no idea. Is there some apprehension from some fans? I'm sure there is.
I bet there's more apprehension from Grizzlies fans than there are Blazers fans. It seems like over here, again, good old Blazer land, we're pretty happy with the move. But then if you take a look over at Memphis, now Memphis has gotten rid of Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, and Jaren Jackson.
Well, we knew Memphis was pulling the chute anyways, the way that they were doing it, but I'm guessing they're not excited about having Chris Murray as a new centerpiece?
Well, again, if LeBron, the face of the league, is going to come out and say, Memphis sucks, Memphis is this, that, and the other, and then the offseason comes and Memphis trades away all their talent, yikes. Yeah. I'd be scared if I was a Grizzlies fan.
Well, unless you're a Grizzlies fan that lives in Nashville and knows that the team is going to be moving over there when they don't want to renew their lease at the arena and move out to more central Tennessee. We'll see how that thing ends up playing out. This is move number one. I mean, we're keeping an eye on to see if there's any other free agency movement, but there's no reason to think that they've given up everything that they were going to put in a possible Jaylen Brown package. So I don't know if this is a final move. I don't know why it would be their final effort on it. I mean, you're trying to transform your entire roster. That was the feeling that we got with the conversation around this Blazers team, right? Let's go out and make some big swings. So if you expect this to be the last move, you may be right, but I'd be very surprised if Joe Cronin hung up the phone and went, done.
All right, time to kick the feet up and enjoy my 4th of July now.
Just enjoy the rest of this off-season free agency period.
He's probably got a few more fireworks for us.
Well, whether the fireworks come through or not, I mean, this is something where you've took a swing. I mean, it's funny. We try to assess these things in the moment when they happen, and everybody's going to have your reactions. But love it or hate it, I think the number one thing that we hear about this Portland Trailblazers team is I want to see them do something.
I want to see the swing. I don't care if you miss. I want to see you go out fighting.
This is something. Like it or not, it's certainly not running it back. And running it back would have been, I think, the worst thing that you could have done. Tom Dundon going out and getting a coach that is, seems to have the idea that tempo is the way that he wants to play. And then the next move is you get rid of your oldest starter. You get rid of a guy that is a set piece that isn't exactly screaming transition to me. Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray being gone from a team that wants to go tempo and they're replaced with Ja Morant.
I love that a lot.
I mean,
I love that a lot.
Doesn't that feel like exactly the move that you want to make?
I think that's the point that I think a lot of people might overlook is we're a team that, again, Mike Honore said it, I want to go with tempo. I want to go quick. I want teams to have to catch up and make them play our game versus the Blazers playing their game. Ja Morant's the guy that's going to set the precedent.
So you have a coach that was the lead assistant in Minnesota with Ant Edwards as your main focal point on offense. Who's the closest guy that you can think of to Ant Edwards from a talent and explosiveness standpoint in this league?
Probably Ja Morant.
Isn't it?
I'd say in terms of if you had personality in there as well.
I mean, the personalities aren't terribly different, but the trouble off the court has been more obvious for Ja Morant, but it hasn't been exactly absent for Ant Edwards either. So it feels like you're listening to the coach, and I know that people don't like the contract and the way Dundon's done things, but he said on the court, we're going to give everything we have to go out and try to win, which means at some point you're probably going to take some risk. How many guys have we seen have a complete change in the way they approach the game by going to a new city and getting that second chance and going and taking full advantage of it in this league? We've seen it often enough. So, again, I don't have a crystal ball. I have no idea if this is going to work out well. If it ends up being a disaster, would you rather have that, or would you rather have another year of mediocrity where Jeremy Grant is in your starting lineup, taking jump shots and then falling to the ground and then getting back late on defense? I'll take Ja.
I think I'll take Ja too.
I mean, we don't have a choice. They've made the move. I don't think we have a say in it. But as far as just being able to react to it in real time, I love it, man. It's something that makes it really exciting. The other thing that's really nice about that is it means most of the show we get to talk about the Blazers instead of how terrible the Mariners are or trying to figure out what's going on in the World Cup because it's on TV. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I know Brazil beat Japan earlier, and, that's about it.
Germany and France are in a scoreless match right now in the 39th minute.
There you go.
There's your World Cup update.
There you go. So with that, let's go over and do some In Case You Missed It. In case you missed it, Canada scored in the 92nd minute to beat South Africa 1-0, securing their first ever men's World Cup knockout win. In a related story, they also became the first team in FIFA history to follow up a historic victory by sincerely apologizing to the losers for ruining their weekend. Oh, Canadians are so polite. The post-game celebration was wild. Did you get to see it, Casey? Instead of the traditional Gatorade dump, the Canadian coach was hit with a vat of warm maple syrup. It was wild. No? Oh. You can't laugh and groan at the same time. Come on.
I'm laughing at the groan.
In case you're proud of your groan, I totally hit that button well. In case you missed it, following Draymond Green's decision to decline his player option, the Golden State Warriors are plotting massive moves to acquire both Anthony Davis and free agent LeBron James. So what's the projected starting lineup here? LeBron 41, Steph 38, Jimmy Butler 37, Draymond 36, and AD, the oldest 33-year-old in league history. They'd be so old that instead of Instagram, they'd have Facebook groupies. They'd be the only team that you like. Help me out here. What's the better nickname if this trade and this all these moves come to fruition? The Olden State Warriors, the Glaucoma State Warriors, Bengay by the Bay, the actual 49ers, the Splash Seniors, the Near Death lineup, or the Diaper Dandies? Which one do you like best? Is that any of those?
I like the beignet one.
The Bengay by the Bay?
Bengay.
Bengay by the Bay. I like Diaper Dandies. When I got that, I was thinking of Dickie V and just how great would that be. In case you missed it, Tom Brady, the Las Vegas Raiders minority owner, publicly criticized the team's underperformance, saying, quote, "There's not one player in the organization, there's not anybody involved that did the job to the level that it needs to be done at," which is a pretty bold demand for a flawless dedication from a guy whose primary job is talking about completely different teams every Sunday for Fox. Like, really? This shouldn't be a surprise, though. Tom is famous for expecting a lot from his teammates, coaches, and the guys that deflate his footballs. Like, he is really, really demanding. He expects... Sorry, let me try that again. He expects a lot from the video spies, the weird, overbearing trainers, and his hair plug guy. Is that more like... Okay. Would you be surprised if you found out that Tom Brady actually hired Gisele's jiu-jitsu trainer and asked him to do whatever it takes to keep her from distracting him from watching football and tape? Would that get... No? And finally, in case you missed it, the Buffalo Bills have made an organizational decision to exclude O.J. Simpson from the family circle of legends being honored outside their new Highmark Stadium. It was apparently down to a fan vote, and the Bills Mafia narrowly voted to remove O.J. in favor of Scott Norwood. So that's how much they dislike... Oh, no? Simpson was the first ever member inducted into the original stadium's Wall of Fame in 1980. He still holds a franchise record for rushing yards in a season, rushing yards in a game, but also murders. So it's a little difficult to get behind. All right, well, we got big Blazers news, so I'm sure we'll talk about that more in the Daily Buzz, but we've also got a very disappointing weekend for the Seattle Mariners. You've got a red-hot Philadelphia Phillies team that have a little bit of competition that may come down to the wire. We'll tell you what that is. And a golfer gets struck by lightning? All that in the Daily Buzz. We do it next. It is Happy Hour on 105.1 The Fan.
The biggest questions.
Daily Buzz usually is all of the stories that I looked at this morning or earlier today, but because we have breaking news constantly, including the Portland Trail Blazers moving Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray to Memphis for Ja Morant, we're actually going to have Casey fire off all the things that have happened since the show started. I'll give you one while you kind of get settled over there, Casey. If you missed it this morning, we had Victor Hovland beat Scottie Scheffler in the first playoff hole for the Travelers Championship. So because of the rain delay, anybody trying to get the Yankees and Red Sox game yesterday afternoon was given some bonus golf where Scottie nails a 7-footer, 8-footer to force the playoff this morning after Victor Hovland made his par putt on 18. And then you get bonus golf. Hovland nails the birdie putt on the first one, and Scottie Scheffler misses a 4-footer for a chance to push to extra golf. And the Norwegian fans out there, for the least Viking among them, Victor Hovland, who just always seems super calm. They're doing the row. The Americans are using it, had like waste management feel to it. You would have liked to seen that go a few more holes, but after one hole, Victor Hovland, your champion. Let's go. Do you want to hit that sounder and give me what you got next?
The Buzz.
According to Shams Charania, the Atlanta Hawks are declining Jonathan Kuminga's $24.3 million team option, making him a free agent.
Ooh, interesting. Are there any reports that he will be re-signed there? Because you have James Harden opted out, expected to be back. You have Draymond Green opted out, expected to be back. Jonathan Kuminga, this was a team option, so how many people did he bring to their cafeteria? Like, is he doing the same thing he did in Golden State, where he's just nothing but talent and a pain?
I guess so.
Also,
according to Shams Charania, San Antonio Spurs forward Julian Champagnie intends to sign a new 3-year, $45 million contract with the franchise through 2028-29. Spurs declined his $3 million team option to give him a new deal.
Yeah, Champagnie outplayed whatever deal he was on. I mean, it's not somebody that I was super familiar with until the postseason started, and he was good in big moments. Obviously, the team fell short of the ultimate goal, but I don't put any of that on Champagnie. I mean, great piece, big-time threes when they needed him to. So, yeah, I mean, that seems pretty obvious. You outplay your contract, you get paid.
The Buzz.
Free agent center Yusuf Nurkic intends to sign a 2-year, $22 million contract to return to the Utah Jazz. Nurkic thrived in Coach Will Hardy's system and was excited about the Jazz' new look at their roster. The Jazz have 4 7-footers now on their roster.
So, yeah.
Walker Kessler, Jaren Jackson Jr., Lauri Markkanen, and now Yusuf Nurkic.
Walker Kessler, has he turned down $140 million? So he's still under contract. That was an extension offer, so he's still there. I'm not 100% sure what to expect of Utah, but they are adding young talent. Darren Peterson said he had no desire to play there, but they drafted him anyways. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, you assume that Danny Ainge knows what he's doing when he builds a roster, so I guess we give them the benefit of the doubt.
The Buzz.
Over to some NFL news, as Lions, they have released Terrion Arnold after he was arrested last week on felony charges. Arnold had his bond set at $1 million on Monday, and well, the Detroit Lions officially decided, because of the lengthy size of the bond, they're going to release Terrion Arnold.
Terrion Arnold was he a first-round draft pick? Cornerback out of Alabama, underperformed expectations, and then has 8 felony counts against him. I think it has a little bit to do with what was on the field, and a whole lot to do with 8 felony charges that could be a life sentence in prison. Probably the right move for Detroit to move on from that young man.
The conditions of his bond were set as he is not allowed to have contact with 6 of the co-defendants or witnesses in the case. He must surrender his passport within 48 hours, and he was ordered and confined to his residence in Tallahassee, Florida, except when he would be playing, training, and traveling with the Lions. Well, that will not be anymore.
Yeah. Not great for Terrion Arnold. What else we got? Do you have any more breaking news or recent updates?
The Buzz.
Free agent guard Landry Shamet intends to sign a new 4-year, $24 million deal to return to the New York Knicks. Shamet had a growing market of multiple suitors forming from July 1st. but the Knicks have received his commitment to bring him back as a key part of that NBA championship roster.
I can't imagine what the feeling was to be part of that New York Knicks team, but Syatt is one of those guys that we did not talk about enough. I mean, talk about big shots, dude. How they ever left him open for a corner three and then go a step further and always leave him open for a corner three, man, that guy was daggers. They've already signed Alvarado back, so he'll be back. Who are they even going to be losing from that team? There was not a lot of guys that I don't think want to come back and try to run it back for New York. There are a lot of contributions from a lot of guys on that team. Obviously, the starters get all the attention for good reason, but Syatt was awesome in that final series.
The Buzz.
And former NFL running back Chris Johnson, former Tennessee Titans and Arizona Cardinals running back, revealed that he has been diagnosed with ALS in an interview with ABC's Good Morning America. Johnson, at age 40, told GMA co-anchor Michael Strahan that he was diagnosed with the disease in 2025, and he has no history of it in his family.
Yeah, I don't know how much family history plays a part of it. I mean, every time I hear ALS, it feels like a gut punch. And, obviously we have the history with Mike Lynch, who was on the airwaves on this station for a long time. When we found out, it felt like it came out of nowhere, and it kind of always does. I mean, Chris Johnson, I got to meet Chris Johnson, who you don't think of as a very big guy. He was jacked.
CJ2K.
But just absolutely jacked. And the speed that he ran with, he always looked like that skinny guy. He wore those kind of 3/4 sleeves or like half sleeves underneath his jersey and just kind of looked like this really stealthy kind of guy. That you meet the dude in person and just realize how ripped he was, how good he was. And he got a lot of credit for being fast, but he would take hits and keep on going. He was, for a couple years, maybe the best back in the league. Obviously, he couldn't keep that up, but he was so much fun to watch. And it's always the scariest thing to hear this diagnosis because it happens fast. And I mean, obviously there's variations in it, but there's no way that ALS, that you can stop it. The process, however fast it's going, it's just one of those things that just is a degenerative disease that is terrifying. And all the thoughts and prayers out to his family and loved ones because it's awful.
That's all I got for you.
All right. Well, a couple other things in the NBA that I'll just throw at you. Andrew Wiggins, 3-year, $64 million deal to stay with the Heat. So you'll have Andrew Wiggins part of that triumvirate that will be down there now with Giannis and Bam, the second highest scoring player in a single game in NBA history. And Miles Bridges to the Suns, the Hornets offloading any trouble that they have off the court elsewhere. Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal come back along with a 2033 first-round pick in that move. Kawhi Leonard said that he will only extend with the Raptors. If the Clippers end up moving him, that's the only team that he would be interested in. And then we haven't had a chance to talk about it. Malik Beasley and Ed Davis indicted in a gambling case, which is not surprising. Apparently, Beasley was so far in debt from gambling that this was his solution. Ed Davis worked as what they call a gatekeeper for some of the deals where he was obviously helping bettors with player props, because of course he was. Why wouldn't you? You notice we did not mention the Seattle Mariners in there. That is because we'll have the opportunity to talk to their radio play-by-play man, Gary Hill Jr. will join us next. But first, we'll walk over to the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk and see what we missed.
A little World Cup update for you as the round of 32 has officially begun. Canada kicked off the knockout stage last night as they defeated South Africa 1-0 in the 92nd minute. Earlier today, Brazil, they came back to defeat Japan 2-1. Right now, the game has just gone to halftime, but Paraguay, they lead 1-0 over Germany. And wrapping up our World Cup matches for the day is the Netherlands as they face off against Morocco at 6 p.m. Remember, your U.S. men's national team, they play Wednesday, and they will play against Bosnia and Herzegovina.
And they seem to be fairly heavy favorites. I looked at one re-ranking of the remaining teams in the World Cup pre-tournament. This source had the U.S. listed as the 22nd best team in the tournament the way they've played so far, they've been bumped up to the 9th best team in the tourneys. So, hey, if you can go out and have a improved performance each round of this, make things interesting, I'm ready to jump on the bandwagon as soon as they start winning some knockout games. Let's go.
This sports update was brought to you by Big's Chicken. Try their smoked and fried wings, tossed with a perfect dry rub and served with a trio of killer sauces. Menus at bigschicken.com. For more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Casey Smith from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of the fan happy.
Well, the big news here in Portland, Ja Morant has been traded from the Memphis Grizzlies to your Portland Trail Blazers for Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray. It seems to be that people love or hate this move, and there does not feel like there's a whole lot of in-between. I've got a whole lot of in-between feelings about the Seattle Mariners. They have lost 3 straight series. They have not been able to hit particularly well. I don't know if they're doing the piggyback or not. Are they going to bring up any of these young arms anytime soon? I don't know any of the answers to these. So we bring in Gary Hill Jr., the radio play-by-play man for your Seattle Mariners. Gary, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good, Luke. How are you? Great to be on again.
Yeah, great to have you back. I'm doing okay. It's getting more and more frustrating to follow these Seattle Mariners. They're still only a half game out of first place in a division that nobody seems to want to win. The Rangers at 42-42 are in first place, so they're not really running away, and I don't expect them to run away with anything, though they've won 7 out of their last 10. But the Mariners, They went 13 straight games without scoring more than 3 runs. Yesterday, they finally score 5 runs, but then give it up at the end, not using leverage arms. What is going on from your perspective with the Seattle Mariners?
Yeah, that's kind of the season has gone, for the most part, outside of that 8-game winning streak. It seems like on nights where they get the hitting, they don't get the starting pitching, or if they get both, then they don't get the bullpen. It's just been one of those things where they just haven't played consistently well through the course of the season, and that's why they've been around 500. They showed glimpses of the team that we think they can be, but they haven't been that for any sort of consistent, week or 2 or 3 or a month, that sort of thing. And for me, outside of yesterday, of course, even a little bit yesterday, honestly, the offense has been the real issue in the month of June. In May they finished above 500, and they were middle of pack and runs scored, but honestly, with the way the rotation has been, that's good enough to be a winning team and put together a decent stretch. But that has not been the case in June. You look at the runs scored, and they're towards the very bottom in baseball. And to me, it comes down to slugging for this team. They're near the bottom in slug in June. They're just not hitting homers right now, especially this month. Homers and doubles for the most part. But they're a team that needs to slug. That's kind of how they're built around, and really that's how you score in baseball. It's very difficult night in and night out to string together enough singles to score enough runs every single night. Pitching is just too good. So you've got to find a way to slug. You've got to homer, and they're just not doing it right now.
Well, obviously the Cal Raleigh, power surge that we saw last year with 60 home runs is non-existent this year, but he's also just not really hitting the ball at all. So you have Cal, who was, I assume, hurt for that first chunk of the season during that 0-38 stretch that he had. I'm sure he wasn't exactly right, especially with one of those, core injuries. And you lose him for a month, and now he's back, and things still don't seem to be right. Is that just a process thing? I know that different Mariners have hit the ball hard without having the results that they expected. What are you seeing from Cal specifically since he's been back?
Yeah, it just seems like he's finding his timing. I think there were some good signs the last couple of games on the trip because he did start to hit the ball hard. He was reaching base, walked a couple times, had a base hit, scored a run in that final game. So it feels like things are getting closer, and so the Mariners aren't going where they want to go without him. Yeah. And without being a guy in the middle of the order, without that guy that's slugging home runs. They need him. So you hope that is moving in the right direction with the things we've seen lately. And one of the big differences, too, you look at last month, Julio had 17 extra base hits, and it's 4 this month. And a part of that is some bad luck because he's hit the ball hard with not a ton to show for it. But it's just hard really for any team. If the middle of your order is not slugging, it's going to be hard to score runs. And you kind of look at, Cal and Julio and Naylor, that middle grouping, they scuffled to start the season. And it feels like it's that same sort of thing where the lineup is just cold all at the same time right now.
Yeah. And what's funny is just looking at the standings, they're not a whole lot better at home than they are on the road. Over the last couple of years, it feels like especially the pitching staff has been so much better at home. But this year, they're kind of middling both. I mean, I guess they're a couple games better at home, but they get a homestand now. They're taking on the Angels tonight. Do we expect that this is something that can start in the right direction? I mean, they hit the ball hard a lot against Cleveland. It just wasn't getting them on base. So is it something where you need a big sea change, or is it just a matter of seeing the ball find the gap and eventually it'll come around where we'll have, not a whole lot difference in approach or in contact, just have some balls drop, we'll get them going in the right direction?
You know what's funny about this team? This is not the first year that this has happened. You go back to, I don't know, each one of the last 5 years where they have gone stretches where they've just looked like a bad team. And then in the blink of an eye, out of nowhere, oftentimes it's not like this ramp up. They just turn on the switch and become great. And they go from being one of the worst teams in baseball to being one of the absolute best. And it happens in the blink of an eye. So I feel like we're all still waiting for that switch to flip this year. And you do look, the Angels are not a good team. They've really struggled this year. The Mariners have hit a ton of homers at home.
Yep.
The Angels are not good on the mound. So the recipe, hopefully that's it. Hopefully it just starts today. I mean, that's kind of where you're at. The Mariners are a very talented team. They're better than how they've played so far. And you're just waiting for it to turn. And maybe this is it. Maybe this series against the Angels is where it starts. Because it's been, we're over halfway just in terms of games played. We're not to the All-Star break yet.
Yep.
But there's still a lot of season to go, but half the season behind you. So you want it to start now. And the good thing is you pointed out, the division is right there. And the American League is right there too, honestly. When you look at the landscape of the American League, it's anyone's American League. If you punch your ticket into the postseason, you'll have a chance to get to the World Series. That is where the American League is at. So just hoping the Mariners put it together. You really want to win the division, get home field, do all that sort of things. First things first, though, they've got to play well for an extended stretch.
Yeah. Gary Hill Jr., radio voice of the Seattle Mariners, joining us. The general manager for the Mariners, Justin Hollander, came out and told us that they're going to do a modified piggyback. They had all the starting pitchers, all 6 of the starting pitchers that have pitched well at times and mostly have been good this year, agreed that they would rotate through and everybody would take their turn doing the piggyback. But then they come around to Logan Gilbert's turn. They decide not to do that. What is going on? Are they doing a 6-man rotation, or are they doing a piggyback? Do they need to move somebody to the pen? Because I sure would hate to wait an extra day in the rotation to see Logan or Brian Wu or even Bryce Miller, who might be have the most electric stuff since he's been back. So do we have any update on what their plans are from what we heard, maybe just over a week ago?
Justin Hollander is going to speak today in a couple of hours, so I'm assuming he's going to address that. They said at the time they wanted to give their 2 guys coming up an extra day. Kirby was going to go on regular rest, so now he gets the extra day. The timing's kind of weird just with the World Cup. This series falls as a Monday, Tuesday, off day, Wednesday, then Thursday game.
Yeah.
Normally they would have had Monday off, so it would have been a little more clear-cut in terms of off days for the next guys coming up. So I think that played into the decision. There's one more planned before the All-Star break, so I am curious to hear what Justin Hollander says about that, what the plans are, and I know they'll reevaluate at the All-Star break as well. It's been really interesting to play out because usually in baseball, these sorts of things sort themselves out.
Yeah.
You generally don't have a healthy rotation. You definitely don't have 6 quality, healthy guys all at the same time. You file under good problems to have, I guess, but it is a really unique challenge they've had to deal with because every guy deserves to be in a major league rotation, and every guy this year, last year, they've been really good. You're talking about all-stars and Cy Young candidates and that sort of thing, the resume for each and every guy. So it's been a unique problem to deal with, and I am curious to see what they do in the near term, but also the long term as we get into July and get near the trade deadline. As long as everyone is healthy, it's a good problem, but a very unique problem to deal with.
And on top of that, I think we talked about this the last time we had you on the show, was Cade Anderson and Ryan Sloan. Ryan Sloan is striking out 6-1 strikeout to walk ratio, and he has been awesome, throwing in the high 90s from the right side. And Cade Anderson is untouchable. What has he given up? One outing where he gave up 5 runs, and the rest of the innings he's pitched have been scoreless basically for the season. He has been untouchable. He was the number 3 pick in last year's draft, but only because the teams ahead of the Mariners didn't have the money or the wherewithal to be able to select him. He should have been the number 1 overall pick. And here he is, just untouchable, but you've got 6 guys in the way. So it's amplified even more than that. If you had a magic wand, would you want to see these guys come up and get bullpen starts or get bullpen work or get into a starting rotation? What do you do when everybody has been good and nobody's been really exceptional except for the guys at Double-A?
Yeah, I think we will see one or both at some point this year, even if everybody stayed healthy. I think they will be a part of things, especially Cade Anderson. Of course, started LSU. He has a head start over Sloan, who was a high school pitcher, of course, but I think he will play a factor in things at some point, and maybe it is out of the bullpen. And with the way he's thrown, hey, you can never have too many good arms when you talk about a stretch run, trying to get into the postseason or even in the postseason. And it's something they've watched his innings early on in the season, so he will have innings to play with late in the season. So I think he will be a part of it, but that's the question, right?
Yeah.
Will it be out of the bullpen? Will he get a spot start or 2 down the stretch? And I think part of that will be where the Mariners are at. If they have a lead in the division by 6 or 7 games, you have some flexibility there, especially if you're looking at a postseason run and then you're looking at innings for some of your other starters, Kirby and Gilbert and Wu and whoever, because you want to make sure they're fresh going into the postseason. So I think some of it will just be the circumstance that the Mariners are in will dictate their decisions. But I'm fairly certain we're going to see one or both of them at some point this year.
Gary Hill Jr., radio voice for the Seattle Mariners with us. There are 4 series left before the All-Star break. Angels, Blue Jays at home, and then a little Florida swing at Miami, at Tampa Bay. Where are the Mariners at right now with injuries? Julio's a little bit nicked up but playing. Dom Canzone, same thing. We have not seen Brendan Donovan back. Who's healthy, who's not? Are we just limping into the All-Star break, hoping to kind of stay around that 500 or fighting for the division lead, or is this a time that we need to make a little push?
Making a little push, I think. When you look at the Angels, the Mariners are a better team than the Angels, even with the injuries. So, especially home, you really want to get this series. And Blue Jays, they've just lost 5 in a row as well. It's been a struggle for the Blue Jays. So that's a series you'd love to get at home as well. That's how I'm kind of looking at it, is series at a time and just win a series.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not asking for, hey, win 10 in a row. Just knock off some series. And that's been kind of the frustration in this stretch, because there have been, you look back at several of these series, and yesterday was a perfect example. You win that game, you win the series, right? You feel good about things. And they've had a lot of those in this recent stretch where it's just one inning, one play, that sort of thing has cost them a game, which has cost them a series. It's close, although it doesn't feel like it. They're close to getting series wins consistently. It's just not happening. In terms of health, I'm curious, Justin Hollander, when he speaks, I'm anxious to get the Donovan update as well, because I think he's been a big missing bat for the Mariners.
Yeah.
Luke Raley went on the IL today, which is unfortunate. He's dealing with an elbow injury. He was so good last month for the Mariners, and so he'll be missing for the next week or so. I think they're doing a good job. Randy's doing a good job dealing with his injury, just getting through it. Dom's playing through his thing, which is good, because he's been probably the best bat in the lineup the last few weeks for the Mariners. So it's good that he didn't have to go on the IL. And it's the kind of thing, if you're a fan watching the game, and sometimes you see Dom Canzone just kind of not running hard down the line, hey, that's to stay healthy.
Yeah.
That's the thing, because you want his bat in the lineup, and you have to be smart in a long season. So that's what they're trying to do right now, is to keep those guys healthy, to keep the bat in the lineup.
Gary Hill Jr., we're going to let you go, but one quick question before we do. Have you got a chance to enjoy any of the World Cup in Seattle? Will you get to be there on Wednesday or any of that?
So it has been super fun. My wife and I came down. The Mariners played the night Team USA played across the street.
Yeah.
And so we came down early, and we didn't have tickets to the game because, there were a lot.
Yeah.
but we just walked around, and it was amazing. There were people everywhere, people in every restaurant, every bar that had a TV, just spilling out the doors, and the cheers and the excitement. It was so fun just to be in the environment and just to feel like, even though we were not at the game, to feel like we were part of it. And we could hear the cheers from the stadium. I've never been to a World Cup before, a World Cup game. I've really experienced it, but it has been so much fun to have it here, and not only here in the United States, but here in our backyard as well. It's been a great time. There's been watch parties across the street from our stadium, and people are just having the time of their lives, which is so great. And as we know, the Pacific Northwest is such a great place to be.
For
sure. I feel like it's really shown well for all the fans from other countries that have visited.
Well, Gary, great to talk to you. Let's do it again in a couple weeks, maybe after the All-Star break. I appreciate the insight, and we'll be rooting for the Mariners. At least I will. Hopefully they can take out the Angels and the Blue Jays. That Florida run will be a little bit tough before the All-Star break, but we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, hopefully there'll be a win streak next time we talk.
Hope so. Gary Hill Jr., we will get to some we'll get to one more for the road. Two Philadelphia Phillies chasing the same number. We'll tell you what that is next. It is Happy Hour on 105.1 and the Fan Sports Network. Welcome back. If you missed anything from this show, past shows, future shows, use the podcast feature. It's at 1051thefan.com, odyssey.com, the Odyssey app. Only 696 fish yesterday. Not feeling too happy about that. Casey, what are the people saying on the YouTube and text toy that we need to address?
Got a bit of a mixed bag between we love the jaw move, and people are still indecisive about jaw.
I saw a lot of very negative, very positive, at least on the text chain that I am included on. For nobody was really in the middle about it. They said there was 3 responses: awesome, ridiculous, or a lot of jokes out there, a lot of shooting guard, a lot of strip club, a lot of Oregonians,
and I think
jokes out there.
I think the expectation is that, again, like the move, it's not going to be the last one.
I like that it is a move. They made a big move. Whether you like it or not, you can't say that they're not out doing something. I will not miss Jeremy Grant or Chris Murray, 2 of the players that were out there. Let's do... See what your buddy Schwarbaum did over the weekend. He is now up to 30 home runs on the season. He is leading Major League Baseball. He is on pace to hit 59 home runs this season. And if he stays on pace, at the end of the season, he will finish with 399 career home runs, which is, based on his pace, the exact same number of career home runs Bryce Harper will have at the end of the season. So both of the Phillies sluggers are on pace to finish this season with 399 career home runs, just one shy of 400 if you're doing the math along with us at home. Who makes it to 400 first, Schwarber or Bryce Harper? Bryce Harper at 382 career home runs, Schwarber at 370.
I think Schwarber's going to get there first.
You think Schwarber beats him? All right.
It's going to be a fun race.
It'll be something to keep an eye on. Both guys are racing towards 400, both on pace for 399. Thank you to Gary Hill Jr., who joined us, Lee Syatt, who will be at Helium this weekend. Thank you, Casey. Thank you, everybody that listened. And, of course, thank you, Isaac Ropp. We're all done for now. Bye-bye.
The right side of life. For life is